Hello students, in this lecture we are going to discuss something which is very important in cosmology and which is very much relevant nowadays, which is the cosmological constant. Okay, the cosmological constant, which is basically defined by capital lambda. Okay, and basically this cosmological constant was introduced by Einstein. Okay, and what was the motivation behind this thing? See, basically in the time of early 20th century, okay, basically there were no high-end telescopes. We could not see much of the universe like we see it today. We were not having very deep satellites in the universe. So basically we could not see a more dynamics of the universe at that point of time. So Einstein tried to modify the standard cosmological principle. What he told is that if universe is homogeneous and isotropic in space, why not consider another symmetry in the universe? Okay, and he told why not consider homogeneity in time. What it means? Homogeneity in time actually means a non-expanding universe. Okay, because at that point of time there were not many proofs. Okay, Big Bang theory was not developed, and there were not many proofs about the expansion of universe. So Einstein thought to actually modify this equations, Friedman equations, and in such a way that they also satisfy homogeneity of time. It actually means that he actually wanted non-expansion of universe, and he wanted the universe to be static in time. Okay. Now we are very much knowing that universe is expanding, and this idea was misguided idea, but still this is one of the most relevant idea in nowadays. Why it is, and what is the use? Okay, maybe the motivation was not very correct of Einstein, but the mathematical technique which he introduced is of very much use nowadays. Okay, so what Einstein did is, okay, so let me try to explain you. Okay, so what Einstein did was in general theory of relativity, but I will try to explain you using Newtonian's point of view. Okay, so suppose that this is del square phi is equal to 4 pi g into rho. Okay, so this is your gravitational potential. And this is your rho, which is your density. Okay, so basically del square phi is proportional to the density. Now, so this is something which comes from the Newton's equation, and this is the normal Poisson's equation in gravity. And the other thing which is that the acceleration, the gravitational acceleration, okay, is given as A is equal to minus grad phi. Okay. Now, so this is the value of acceleration. Okay, this is the variation of potential with density. Now for a static universe, okay, what you will want, A should be 0. Okay, if A is equal to 0, it also implies that grad phi is also equal to 0. If grad phi is equal to 0, then it also implies that del square phi is equal to 0. Okay, so if I use equation number 2 in 1, then you will get, okay, that LH is equal to 0 and 4 pi q rho. So it actually implies that rho should be 0. What it means that rho is equal to 0, it means that there is no density. Okay, this corresponds to empty universe. Okay, so if you demand a static universe, okay, then it is only possible if it is an empty universe. Okay, now you know that a universe has a lot of matter content, and it is impossible to have an empty universe. So it is also not possible to have a static universe. But Einstein did not stop here. What he said is that, okay, so if this is the case, then I will add a constant here. Okay, now this is not a dynamical thing, this is just a constant. Okay, so no matter if this term goes to 0, del square phi will still not be equal to 0. Okay, so this was his basic idea, to introduce a constant, okay, that to make universe static. Okay, now what he did in his work, okay, now he actually modified. Okay, so basically you know that the Friedman equations were generally derived using this equation. Okay, so this is your Einstein's equations of motion. What he did was, in this equation he introduced 8 pi g plus lambda g. Okay, so this lambda is known as cosmological constant. Okay, so basically by doing, okay, but now what will this thing have? Okay, so by introducing lambda, we are doing nothing but we are adding a new type of matter content. Okay, the form of whose, which we don't know up till now, till today also. Okay, but basically it is a constant. Okay, this is a constant term, and it will have, since it is a new type of matter, so this matter will have its own density, this will also have its own pressure, and all these terms will have to be defined. Since it is a new kind of matter which we are adding to the universe, that new kind of matter will have its own density, which will call rho lambda, which is basically the density of the cosmological constant. We will have a p lambda, which would be the pressure given due to this. Like we have seen in the simplest solutions, that dust has its own way of pressure, radiation has its own kind of pressure, so a cosmological constant will also have its own kind of pressure. This is rho lambda. Okay, this is the density of the cosmological constant, and this is always fixed. This is a constant, this will have a constant density throughout the universe. Okay, for all the times. Okay, so this was the basic motivation behind this, and basically Einstein has added a new term in this equation. Okay. So basically, if we are introducing a new term, now we will use the same FLRW metric, okay, and solve this Einstein's equation of motion. And what we will see that there is some modification in the Einstein's equation. Okay. So basically, now let me try to explain you that what adding a new kind of matter actually means. Okay. Now suppose that this is your universe. Okay. Now, as we know that there is some kind of matter here. Okay. And from we have seen that if there is matter in the universe, then it will try to expand. Okay. It will not be static. Maybe it may try to contract or it may try to expand. Suppose that if it is expanding. Now, if we want to make it static, then what is the thing Einstein did was he added a new kind of matter in the universe which we call cosmological constant. So basically what is happening that this new kind of matter is trying to expand the universe, and this cosmological constant is actually trying to give a opposite pressure to the universe, and this both forces are actually equal and they are making the universe static. So this was the idea, but this is unstable situation. Why it is an unstable situation? The reason behind it is, suppose that somehow the pressure due to matter has reduced. Okay, somehow this has reduced. Then what will happen? Now this will give you a constant pressure. Okay, so basically this will increase and increase and increase, and eventually this will collapse. Okay, so basically now if this has actually, if this is this the matter density or the pressure due to the matter has increased, and since this is constant, so just a little bit amount of pressure is increased and the universe will start expanding and expanding and expanding, and once it expands at higher rates, you will see that the matter density will fall off very faster. So this is an unstable situation, and it is not always possible to make a static universe out of cosmological constant. Okay. So in the previous slide we have seen that actually Einstein added a cosmological constant. Okay, and actually when we put in FLRW metric, then what you will see is that this will eventually modify your Friedmann equations. So those Friedmann equations will be looking like this. Okay. So the first Friedmann equation will look like this. H square is equal to 8 pi g into rho by 3 minus k by a square plus lambda by 3. Okay. So in principle, lambda can be positive, it can be negative. Okay. But generally we take more usually lambda to be positive. Okay. So basically the idea of the of Einstein was to balance this term. Okay. This rho term and basically with this term. So basically this is the normal matter content of the universe, and this is the matter due to the cosmological constant, and basically we have to balance both of them. So what will happen? That once both of these things are matched, then h square will be equal to 0, and this will give you a dot is equal to 0, and this will actually give you, since h is equal to a dot by a, that's why I am writing this as a dot is equal to 0, and this will actually give you constant. Okay, so basically your scale factor will become constant. It is not increasing, it is not decreasing, so basically the universe is static. Okay, so this actually gives you static universe. So basic motivation of Einstein was to somehow make the universe static. Okay. But you know that today such kind of so the first thing is that it is highly unstable situation, and you cannot have uh, a stable situation out of this thing. And the other thing is that today in the 21st century we already know that universe is expanding, so there is no need to discuss such kind of things. So Einstein sometimes called it his biggest blunder, but today we are again revisiting this problem, and we say that this is not his biggest blunder, although it can solve some big problems in cosmology. Okay, so nowadays this thing has been again in fashion, and so this was the modification in the first term. The second term's modification will be like this: the acceleration equation minus 4 pi g by 3 into rho plus 3p by c square. And so basically the equation was only up to this, but after introduction of cosmological constant you will have an additional term. Okay, so this we call it equation number 2. Okay, so actually if value of lambda is positive, then it will give you positive contribution to a double dot. So effectively there will be a repulsive force. Okay, so if lambda is sufficiently large, it can overcome gravitational interaction, gravitational attraction, okay, which is represented by this term. Okay, so this is your term due to gravitational acceleration. Okay, so you can see that this is a negative term, so basically this is uh, uh, attraction. Okay, so let me write it, attraction here. So this is your gravitational attraction term, and since we are taking this as positive, this will actually act as a repulsion. Okay. So if I take lambda to be sufficiently large, then this can actually dominate, and this term will be become in comparison to this term will become very low, and this can, okay, it can overcome gravitational attraction, okay, and lead to an accelerating equation. Okay, accelerating universe. So this is the thing. So therefore lambda can explain the observed acceleration of the universe. Okay, so this is the thing which is very important and which makes us to revisit this theory again. So if we introduce lambda in the same way, okay, the Einstein did, okay, and we keep it here. If this term is very high, okay, then this thing can dominate over gravitational attraction, and you will get an accelerating universe, and therefore if this thing actually exists in the universe, then this can explain you the acceleration of the universe, okay, or the expansion of the universe. Okay, right now we don't have any theory which explains the expansion of the universe, except we are just using cosmological constant, okay, as something which is the dark energy. Okay, so the dark energy is actually represented using cosmological constant, and we basically are trying to explain the existence of dark energy, and if it exists, and can it explain you the acceleration of the universe or not. Okay, now uh, it is convenient that if we define, okay, so different types of matter have different type of density parameter, so we can define density parameter, okay, for cosmological constant as okay, as we know that we define this as equal to omega lambda. Okay, so this is your density parameter for lambda, which is the cosmological constant, is equal to lambda, which is the cosmological constant, divided by 3h square. Okay, see, although lambda is a constant, okay, but omega lambda is a function of time. Why? Because you can see that it is inversely proportional to h of t. Okay, so since h is a function of time, omega lambda will also be a function of time. Okay, so this is something you remember. Okay, so this is an important thing which we will come to later on. Okay, but remember this. Okay, so the density parameter for cosmological constant is given as this. Now, in the recent theories, we actually try to represent lambda as a fluid. Okay. So basically, cosmological constant description of lambda as a fluid. Okay. So it is often helpful to describe cosmological constant as a fluid, and it has some energy density with it. So basically, as I told you earlier, that since we are actually trying to introduce a new kind of matter in the universe, so it will have its own density. So the density of this can be written as lambda upon 8 pi g. Okay, and the Friedman equations. Okay, the first Friedman equation, which we generally write as 8 pi g by 3. Okay, into rho minus k by a square plus lambda by 3. Lambda by 3 came because of this thing. Okay, so what I am actually doing is that I am adding this with this. So actually what is happening, 8 pi g, okay, into 3 into rho plus lambda upon 8 pi g, and from here I got, okay, I am writing this as rho lambda, okay, minus k by a square. Okay, so this is why this definition comes. Okay, so I am calling this as a energy density, okay, or the density of the cosmological constant. So I can write h square is equal to 8 pi g by 3 into rho plus rho lambda minus k by a square. Okay, so this is the idea of writing this equation in this way. Okay, and you can also write the density equation. Okay, the third cosmological thing for lambda. Okay, so rho dot of lambda plus 3 a dot by a into rho lambda plus the pressure due to lambda, okay, by c square is equal to 0. Okay, so you know that rho lambda, the density due to the cosmological constant, is always constant. Yeah, since the matter content of the, as I told earlier, that the density of the cosmological constant will be constant in the universe for all times. Okay, so I can write, if this is constant, then I can write rho lambda is equal to 0. The time derivative of this thing will be 0. Okay, so if this is 0, then I can write this as equal to rho lambda plus p lambda by c square is equal to 0. So you can now define the pressure due to cosmological constant. Okay, is equal to minus rho lambda into c square. Okay, so you can see that this is your pressure. So let me take the next page. So the pressure due to cosmological constant is equal to minus rho lambda into c square. Okay, so you can say that the cosmological constant is negative effective pressure. Okay. We have also defined the density. Rho lambda is equal to lambda upon 8 pi g, and we have also defined the omega lambda, the density parameter, which is equal to lambda upon 3h2. Okay, all these three relations should be in your mind for all times. Okay, so these are three very important properties of the cosmological constant, and in this lecture we have actually understood what was the original idea of Einstein, why he introduced them, why it came out to be a blunder, and now why we are revisiting it, because it can explain you the expansion of the universe, and what are the properties, if it exists, what will be the properties of cosmological constant.